Have you ever wondered what cherries as nurses in the back rooms would look like? No? Well, today that's what I'm doing. And I only have 3 hours to do so. This was a huge challenge for me because not only do I take forever to create a design, but I'm doing 2 of them in 3 hours? What? So I had to start off with coming up with an idea of the theme. And I know that the backrooms typically go into the 90s theme. As I said, I really do struggle with creating designs in a time limit. I usually spend about 2 to 3 days on one character design, so this is kind of pushing it a lot by a lot. Anyways, like I said, I was going for the 90s, kind of like 80s mixed in there. For the vibe, I wanted to give these cute, adorable nurses who are deadly. I also wanted to create their final form, their monstrous design, but I didn't have any time to do so. I decided to add some needles to the hair to give that little vibe of the backrooms, you know? They always have like objects where they shouldn't be there, or there's duplicates of them for no reason at all, and that's what I did for her hair. When I decided to color her, I wanted her to have a very vibrant palette, but keep her skin very pale and dull. So I gave her this pink palette with some pops of color in there, and I love it so much. One thing that I love, and I mean adore, that I added was this noise texture to her mouth and eyes. I gagged when I did that, bro. I was like, wait, this eats. I think it's so cool to add that little texture in there. It really give up that vibes. For the other nurse, I decided to give her this kind of what would you say? Not war, but that's Nurse in War. Actually, yeah, the Nurse in War kind of vibe. Giving her this gas mask, as well as giving her some of a older uniform instead. And of course, obviously, I added some needles on top of her hair, again to give that duplicate effect that the backrooms usually have. Now, I had to draw them together, interacting together, and as well as doing their full body with their clothes and everything. This was pretty hard for me because if you've seen my videos before, I tend to struggle with drawing poses, and I would say clothes as well. Yeah, I struggled with that a little bit, but we had to push forward. I finally came out with a decent, sketch of the design. And I wanted them to hold hands because you're like cherries together, a pair together. And actually, this kind of goes in with their little story that they have for these cherry twins. I wanted to make them, double trouble, When you get into the back rooms and you see them both together, it's not good news. Well, actually, it depends on your situation. So if you're stuck in the back rooms where it's hospital themed, you're going to see them. And if you are injured, they will help you. But if you are not injured, they're going to give you medication either way. So injured or not, they give you these extra meds to keep you there. These meds will give you insane hallucinations, and you will not be able to find your way out of the back room because everything is just crazy and loopy. But they want to keep you there, to protect you, to make sure you're good, to keep tabs on you and everything. So that's how they work. When I was thinking about that, I was like, okay, what kind of nurse would they look like? And try to give off that hallucination vibe. I added static to her legs, and I think it worked out so well. Also, I decided to give her some shoes that sort of look like playhouse, kind of balloon house vibes. And I added the needles again. I really liked it, so I stuck with it. I added this stitch kind of staple of her apron to her dress. I don't know, it just gives that kind of odd vibe, but still cute. Where I really struggled was the blue cherry. I don't know what happened. Actually, I do. I didn't have time to plan out everything in detail, so I was kind of just throwing ideas into one, and that's how she came out. But I really loved when I added these different colored gloves, like the pink cherry with these pink nurse gloves, and then the blue cherry having this blue nurse glove. I don't know, they just give such a cute duo. I also added this kind of like restriction ropes to her dress. I think that was it just made sense to me. Now, here's what I really struggled with, like insanely struggled with. I wanted to create like a skeleton underneath the dress kind of vibe, kind of giving like x-ray. If you know, I love x-ray translucent stuff, so it was a no-brainer adding that in there for me because they were nurses and it just made sense. So I was struggling with trying to portray that x-ray dress look. It was so hard. I was like, okay, maybe I have to change the idea, but I didn't have time to change anything. I tried my best and I decided to add some static to the skeleton, and I think it really just brought out the details since it matched out with her goggle glasses thing inside of her gas mask. Then I added some static into her tubes to sort of like give the static going through her brain to her body kind of vibe. I don't know. And she has her little nurse suitcase. For her, she's typically the one to give like the I forgot what it's called when you're having a heart attack and then you pass out or something and somebody comes with the electronic things and they like zzz, that. She does that, and you know, the other one does more of like surgical stuff. But this is basically the designs that I came up with. I had ran out of time, and now it was time for me to reflect on my decisions and my skills and what I need to improve on. So let's take a look at that. Here they are. They're so cute. A tip that I would give to myself is to focus more on my colors. I feel like blue cherry is too mudded out and didn't give the glow I wanted. But that's it for this video. Bye!